Hi, I'm Sarah Feek. I'm an education reporter at the Killeen Daily Herald, and we're here with Fubara Eneli, who's running for a spot on the KISD school board. So what makes you the best candidate for a spot on the KISD school board?
Well, I'm glad you asked that question. I would say a combination of things. First of all, my experiences, my education, and the fact that right now on the board there's currently no one who has children who are school aged and who are in the KISD system. So I have 2 bachelor's degrees from The Ohio State University in English and Political Science. I also have a master's degree, and I also have a Juris Doctorate, which is my law degree. And I have a wealth of experiences working not just through the K through 12 educational system, but also at the college level. And ultimately, we're trying to develop our students so that they can function and be productive citizens as they get older. And so just the myriad experiences that I've had creating programs that are still in existence, that are still producing results, to make sure that from pretty much pre-K, we're working with kids and working with their parents and working with communities to ensure that collectively we're doing everything that we can to make our children competitive, not just within our own regions, our own states, but actually globally. Part of my experience is that although I was born in this country and spent quite a bit of time in this country, I've also been educated outside of the country. And increasingly, the truth of the matter is that you're not just competing with a person who lives next door to you or even in the next state. It's a global marketplace. And that is a voice that I think needs to be on the board. And of course, as I mentioned earlier, I am a mother of 5 children, all of whom, well, actually by the time the vote comes into place, my children will be in elementary, middle school, and high school. And I think it is so important that we have a parent on the board who can speak directly to how the policies and the decisions that the board is making, how those things impact students and impact families.
Why did you decide to run?
We've all heard the saying, if not me, who? And as a parent, again, there are lots of things that I see and I will say, well, someone needs to be doing something about this. But, I'm busy, I'm running a business, I have my children, I have my family, I have other goals. And finally, I just really thought about it. There were other people who approached me, and I said, based again on my experiences, my educational background, what I've accomplished in the past in other communities for other students, why not me, why not now? And that's basically why I made that decision. I come from a long line of educators. My parents are college professors. My mother-in-law was a principal. I mean, we just go on in terms of how important education is. And I just, thought about it and listened to some of my supporters and decided, this would be the time to stand up and be that voice for all our children and be that voice for parents on the board.
What do you think you can bring to the school board?
A lot of things. One of the programs that I'm very proud of being a part of is a program called Gear Up. It's a federally funded program, and I was the author of a grant in the first round of proposals when that program was first created, and it was for Central Michigan University. And that program works with kids, again, from that kindergarten level all through elementary, middle school, high school, to ensure that they're able to go into the fields that they want to, as opposed to a kid waiting till they get to high school and realizing, I've really not been on the track for what it is I want to do with my life. So I have a track record of success. I'm very good at pulling different groups of people together and really creating coalitions that bring about results. And so I think that I bring that to the board, and of course I bring the fact that I'm a parent. And I know intimately what is going on in our schools with our children, with all the different policies that are coming down, both from the board and even from the state.
What are some of the most important issues that you like to see the school board address?
I wouldn't say necessarily that they aren't, but I think that there could be more of a focus on it. If you look at the statistics, the United States of America spends a whole lot more money per student than most of the rest of the world. And yet, when you look at the results, we're falling further and further behind. So there's some areas that I really would like to see us place more emphasis in and, pull our resources together to work on those areas. One is really creating that community sense of we're all in this together, and what happens with our youth impacts our entire future. And so pulling together those different groups who may all be working individually to improve the lot for our youth, but could do so much more if there was a cohesive group, strengthening our parent-teacher organizations and associations so that parents are actually engaged and involved, because we know all the research shows that when parents are engaged, kids do so much better, regardless of how poor or rich the district may be. I think it's also very important that our board is really focusing on how do we get our students better prepared to pursue and succeed in STEM careers. So the science, technology, engineering, and math. That is an area where we're falling so behind. And as a business owner, I often hear from other business owners, we just cannot find American students who have the background and the skills that we need in this area. How in God's name are we going to continue to be the great democracy, be the world power, if we do not produce kids, students in this area? And then also just ensuring that we're doing all that we can to encourage teacher creativity. One of the things that I hear from a lot of teachers is just how burnt out they are about teaching to the test and not really being able to use their skills and be innovative to make sure that kids are engaged and kids are excited about learning. And in those classes where teachers find a way to make that happen, it's a joy. Just this morning getting my 6-year-old ready for school, and he's like, I'm so excited to go to school. I mean, that's how I want every kid to feel. And so I think the board can also be doing more to really engage the teachers and to encourage creativity and innovation in the classroom.
Is there anything else you'd like to add?
Not necessarily, but I do want to emphasize this point. We cannot talk about educating youth, educating our children, educating our students, and then not pay attention to the voices of the parents who are right in the trenches. We have 7 seats on that board. We must have a parent on that board, and I believe I should be the one.
Okay.